welcome along to another episode of The Dose with myself, Paddy, and...
Belinda.
Hi, Belinda. How's things?
Oh, good. How are you, Paddy?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. All I'm going to say, what people can't see if they're not watching the video of this, which will only be, I think, at the moment on YouTube, which interestingly, a lot of people are watching. There is
Listening
a video
to it on YouTube. Did we put up the video content of last week's one, Paddy?
on YouTube. Yeah, I did.
Oh,
Yeah,
I must have a look.
yeah. But all I'm going to say is Belinda and I don't like. What are you? What teabagging are you doing?
Paddy,
Like,
who's going to watch this?
like if people watch the video, it is going to make sense.
It is a honey, lemon, and chamomile tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're making tea, Grant.
And then on this one, I have my protein drink that I've been banging on about all week.
Oh yeah, your protein lemonade.
Peach tea flavor.
Peach tea.
Lemonade.
I like peach tea.
It's just very strong.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I don't even know what the product is actually because there's so much stuff written on the package.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it like what you're drinking there?
Yeah, I think so. So the one that, because I was in Lidl today, is that where you got
Littles,
that?
yeah.
Yeah. So I was in Lidl and I looked at that one. I think it's like peach tea. Yeah, The Dose. Yeah, I don't know mine on.
Well, that's because you've got a nice background.
Yeah, because this is all messy and you can't see it.
Yeah.
It's been messy for weeks. What we're talking about is drink that Belinda got, which is, I really like peach tea actually.
Yeah.
I'm not trying
Yeah.
it. So
Do. It's only a tenner, I think.
yeah, I saw it in Lidl today and I did read it. It's like a clear whey, I think, type drink or whatever, clear protein type drink. Yeah, so the one I am drinking here is a strawberry kiwi flavour. And
Right.
it is gorgeous because I was saying
You got a little shaker in there. Little
a little ball to the shake. Yeah,
yeah, that's what you're supposed to do with them. I don't have one of those.
that could make a difference in the flavour.
Yeah, could it?
Yeah, yeah.
How?
Because sometimes it won't properly dissolve, and as you're drinking it, you might get
clumpy
a
bits in
little
it.
lump, and then you get a full
Yeah,
big go of the
Kind of made
flavour.
me gag a bit. Yeah.
Do you have like a NutriBullet or a little blender
Yes,
thing?
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
use that. Use that.
Problem solved. Problem 725 solved by Paddy.
So Belinda, the last time we spoke was before New Year's Day, because
Yes,
our last podcast was about New Year's.
yeah,
How was
yeah.
New Year's for you?
It was good. It was quiet.
Right.
New Year's Day, we went out for dinner with the whole family, and yeah, it was good. It was good. There's like 14 of us there, so I
Wow.
did actually have a drink that day,
Okay, and how's that?
and grand.
That was your first in a while.
That was my first in a while, yeah. And to be honest with you, while I was drinking it, I could have left it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, just while I'm on that subject, I'm reading a really good book at the moment, and it's called Quit Like a Woman, and it's by Holly Whitaker. And the only
Yeah.
reason I have it in book form is because it's not on Audible. But it's really good. It's really informative, so it is, yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone's thinking about it.
Yeah. So
What did you do for New Year? You didn't go out, did you? No.
So no, New Year's I don't go out. Oh no. I'm in my 40s. I
I
don't
know, mate. I know. I'm heading up against 50.
like
Yeah,
when
it's not good.
when it starts getting to like 8 o'clock, I'd be like, oh God, no.
I know.
I could
Go
do
to
it like,
bed early.
yeah, I could do an old heated blanket now, or a little hot water bottle or something like that. But anyway, however,
That's okay.
yeah. So no, we normally stay in and ring in the new year, watching like Jules Holland or one of those. But we watched Sophie Ellis Bextor was on Ring in the New Year, so we
I love
watched.
her.
Yeah, we're going to see her later this year in concert in the
Of course you
Olympia.
are.
Yeah.
Nice,
Um,
nice.
So go
Oh,
to see her.
do you know who I'm going to see? I'm going to see Paul Smith, the comedian.
Ah, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
When's that?
yeah. I think that's in the second half of the year. And I
Okay.
also got a night with Adele, just her, not the real one, but this girl that travels around and does what are they called?
I was thinking, can Adele travel that far to South Tip?
I know, right?
Maybe North
You
Tip,
can't.
like, yeah, maybe North Tip. Even North Tip's way too far for you,
Yeah,
like.
yeah. It's what do they call those bands that take off other
Tribute,
bands?
like a tribute cover.
Tribute, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
tribute, yeah, down in Waterford. So I'm not really looking forward to that as well.
Okay, yeah,
And what else did I get? Oh yeah, I got well, I'm saying what I got, but I got Sean
yeah. Yeah. AK
a
for you as well.
ticket to this show, but the audience is the jury at a murder scene, at a
Ah,
murder court thing. It's like my favorite thing in the world. I love that kind of shit. So I
amazing.
bought it for Sean for Christmas.
Lovely. When I was at Electric Picnic, I went to Laura Whitmore and Ian Sterling's live podcast of their true crime one.
Right.
They did it at EP in a tent,
A live recording.
like a live podcast. Yeah,
Oh, we're going to get there, Paddy.
yeah, yeah.
We're
We
going to do
will.
that
We
someday.
will. We
We
will.
will. I know we will.
Will.
You have no doubt we will.
We've,
God,
we may have already spoken.
I know. You're
May have
already
already
scheming.
I am scheming. I am scheming. I
Do it.
absolutely am
Just
visualizing.
if you can just write something down for me and give me a time and date and a place and I'll just turn up. Is that all
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. This you
Perfect.
see, this is where it'll be like, okay, Belinda, you know how like techie stuff might be my thing.
Yeah.
Organizing might be more yours. So I like
Yeah.
this is where it'll be good. Grand.
We'll be good. No, we'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Um
What did you get for Christmas off Santa then?
um so got some vouchers for flights, for hotels, some
Lovely.
aftershaves, got some nice ritual stuff, some Voya stuff. Yeah, got some really nice stuff.
Nice.
In fairness, yeah, that was
Excellent.
cool. Um, but yeah, we were talking about food. Actually, so over New Year's, has your food, how's your food this week versus the past week or two?
Oh, there's a big difference.
Okay.
There's a big difference. And I've been talking about this on my stories as well, that my stomach had gotten so bad because of just not overeating. I didn't overeat at any stage at all, but just because we had spoken about the different foods that's in our
Yeah.
house at the moment. And the little things that are around and
Yeah.
the little things that are like there was sweets in my goddamn gym. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. One quick one
Yeah.
to Cardinal. You can have a Toblerone.
Yeah, and my stomach got really bad, like really, really bad. My IBS started kicking up as well, but that was purely because my tummy, my digestive system has not been used to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So what I did to reset my gut, literally to reset my stomach, was I did a fast. I did a 23.5 hour fast.
Wow.
I wasn't, I used to do it a lot when I was on keto, Paddy, like
Yeah.
a lot. And it didn't really phase me.
Yeah.
And then I had a very small window to have something really good and nutritious to eat. And then I went into another fast. And after I did that for maybe 3 days, I'm exactly back to where I should be.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
and I feel fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
brilliant.
it didn't just reset my gut, it reset my mind. It made me more focused,
Yeah.
and it just kind of pushed me on, gave me a little brush that I needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was great. And what about you? How did you kind of
Yeah, so like I said there's still sweets around, and I've still even earlier I picked like two or three of them. I went down to make tea, didn't make the tea, but I got the sweets. And this week I'd say is so the last couple of weeks were definitely not dire, but there
Okay.
definitely was an increase in foods I wouldn't normally have day to day.
Right.
And that seems to be a consensus with some other people I've been chatting to as well, is that it's a different time of year, there's different foods around, we're eating out, you're doing this, you're doing that. And similarly, even today I was chatting to one of my friends and they were saying similar thing, that they had some of the digestive kind of discomfort during the Christmas period. And I was like, oh, did you happen to have like, say, much fatty stuff or rich foods or stuff? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, and
Extra
did
sugar.
correlate. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, it did. So there, there is definitely that kind of correlation, which we know is no surprise. And again, that's part of the conversation that always comes up when we talk about side effects. Is what are you eating? You know, what yeah, how are you trying
Yeah.
to nourish
Well,
your
and
body?
this literally is, what are you eating?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why we want to do this podcast episode today, because we both were getting such a huge amount of questions about
Huge.
what should I be
Yeah.
eating, or I'm feeling crap after Christmas. How do I get back on track? What I'm meant to be eating? And, I'm just starting Manjaro
Yeah,
or
and I think also as well, I've just started Monjaro, I've just started Ozempic, and I don't know what to do, and all the rest of it. Now, I will say, just on another note, that I got this quite a lot during the week as well from my ladies in my subscribers group, where a few of them were starting out, and came back to me and said, like a few days later, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing with my food and the food scales and the calories. And it's like,
yes.
stop.
Yeah.
Just stop. If you're just starting out, stop.
Yeah.
The only advice I can give you is take your medication, put it back in
Yeah.
the fridge, and forget you've taken it.
Yeah.
Your body will naturally tell you what you want and what you need. And you need to be on the medication for about at least 2-3 weeks maybe before you get into all of that thing, even longer, of counting calories, counting protein, counting fiber, when
Yeah.
that's something you've probably never done before. So you're trying to do all that, and you're anxious about this medication that you've just taken as well, and then it just becomes a shit show,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Or, a perfect storm. So I think the most important thing to do is take the medication, give yourself a bit of grace, give yourself a bit of time, and just ease into it.
Yeah. Like, think of it like Lego. They're each building blocks onto a previous thing that you have done. And I think, like, if you're someone that's sitting there and you're like, oh, I typically get maybe, you know, a takeaway maybe multiple times a week, and I don't really get much natural foods. Maybe you're thinking, maybe in those early days you might be like, do you know what, maybe we'll reduce maybe just the amount of takeaways this week as a start, but we won't get too into it, or whatever the case might be. But I think Linda's definitely right there in terms of the more, so in everything to do with this time of year, or in general when people try to lose weight, you just go like full steam ahead with so many different things, and it's just not sustainable at that pace, and that's why those little changes are so important, so important. Little changes, one step at a
And it
time.
has to be slow and steady.
Yeah.
For anything to last or have longevity, those changes that you're going to incorporate into your life and into your diet have to be slow and have to be steady. It's the only way you're going to get longevity out of anything.
And that also ties in with the other question that I've been getting a good bit
Oh
of.
my God.
Well, two questions. One, I'm 4 days in on my Manjaro and I'm not feeling any effect yet. I'm worried it's not going to work for me. So,
Oh my God.
thankfully, we've got videos on this, so I can just send that to people. But again, we've said this so many times in previous podcasts, but in case you haven't heard it, that's perfectly normal. Perfectly normal. Yes. That, initial dose that you take typically of any of these medications, on that starting dose is just that. It's a starting dose to be like, hey, buddy, I have a new medication.
out.
I'm going to be floating around here for a wee while. I'm going to get stronger over the next wee while. So just let me do my thing and you do your thing. And I'll catch up with you soon. And that's literally what that dose is for like the first, maybe it could be 4, 8, 12. It could even be like 3-4 months. I say there is one of the videos I did on TikTok about this. And I said this in the last podcast as well. I was blown away by how many people said I was on 10 milligram before I felt it working for me.
Same.
And I didn't realize the amount of people that were at that level. I thought, oh,
Yeah.
maybe 5, maybe 7.5.
But I think your experience it was so different,
Oh, totally,
Paddy.
100%. And I
So
absolutely,
different.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, because
So for people that don't know, Paddy would have been what we call a super responder, where you responded immediately to the medication, and also that the medication worked for you every single
Yeah.
step of the way.
like
Yeah.
literally within 24 hours, I was like, oh my God, I can barely eat. And that is not the norm, nor should that be something you're looking
Aspiring to.
desirable to. Yeah, it's not desirable to have that every day because you still
Yeah.
need to eat.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, the medication is the wording Belinda uses so frequently and really well is that the medication is a tool so that it can allow you to focus on the other things. But part of that is making sure that you're still nourishing your body. It's so
Yeah.
important, not starving
Yeah.
it.
Because if you don't nourish your body will not work for you. It will not do the things that you want it to do.
Yeah. And the
And
medication won't
that's,
work for you the way it's meant to. The medication won't work for you the way it's meant to because
no, absolutely
if you
not. It won't. No.
if you think
And that's proven. I've proven that myself.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
literally.
one of the key things the medication does is to slow down the digestive emptying, as it's called. So basically, how quickly the food moves through your body. But if you're not getting enough food in your body for that to be effective for you, then it's a waste of money, and a waste of effort.
Yeah, you're literally throwing your money down the drain, and this is not a cheap journey.
Yeah. And the other thing to keep in mind, this isn't a diet. It's a medical treatment.
For a disease.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a medical treatment. And an awful lot of people, I think, still need to let
Come out of that mindset.
sit that this is a medical treatment. This isn't a diet. Yes, I need to focus on nutrition along the way, but this isn't a diet that I'm entering into. Yeah.
It's such a huge subject, isn't it? Because on the back of that, then you could have 27 other conversations about the people maybe that are going on it to lose 10 pounds and all the rest of it, and that's like these people are all adults, they can do whatever they want, but it is a medical treatment, and that's
Yeah.
what it's meant to be. I think that's why myself and Paddy, I used to do this now, but I know you do quite a lot, Paddy, is your first port of call when someone asks you a question is, what did your doctor say? Or what's the other one? What's your prescriber say?
Yeah. Because
And most of the time,
because if first of all, if you have a query about the medication that it's not working right or there's a side effect or something, your prescriber or your doctor, depending on what country you're in, because in some places it'll be a pharmacist or a nurse or a doctor. So that's why I do sometimes say doctor or prescriber. That should be your first port of call. Like absolutely, even if
every
it's
time.
yeah, absolutely, that's what they're there for.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'll ask that is what I've learned more than often, because I was saying this before we kind of went on air, as I'll say, but there's sometimes when my tingly senses start to go that, and this isn't any shame on the person, I've said this before, whereby it can become very apparent very quickly where somebody has sourced something illegitimately.
Yeah.
And it just highlights, okay, have you gone to your doctor? Have you gone to prescriber? And some people are like, no, I didn't go that route. I'm getting it via whatever. And I'm like, okay, just let you know, that's not the best route for this exact reason. You need medical professionals you can lean on this journey. And as much of myself and Belinda
And you
will-
have to have it.
Yeah.
You really do. It's like with my girls in the subscribers group, there's nobody in there that is not under the guise of their medical doctor or their prescriber. There's nobody, because I wouldn't feel comfortable
Yeah.
bringing someone in there that has no idea
yeah,
of what,
yeah,
like we were talking before the podcast here, like this week has been just treacherous for people messaging.
yeah.
Actually asking, where do I get it? Do you sell it? What were yours?
So I would say over the weekend, so I'd say in the last 3 days, I've had maybe 30 plus messages from people asking, where can I get Manjaro? Or what should I be eating?
How do I take it? That's what
Yeah.
how do I take this? What do I do with it?
Yeah. And this is why it's so important to be going the legitimate route with
Yeah.
the
And like, I
medical
suppose
qualified.
really, yeah, but I suppose really we're not saying that we're not going to help people. But I think the only help we could give them is to go to a doctor.
Yeah.
We can,
Like we can give general information on,
yeah, like you would
here's,
to anyone.
yeah, here's whatever, here's this resource, or here's what Eli Lilly say, or here's what, whatever. But in terms of that personal medical advice that you need, the only person who can do that is your medical team. The only person,
Yeah.
And, I know I have a disclaimer on all of my social media pages. The very first thing you'll see is that I'm not medically qualified. None of the things we say are prescribe medical advice for you on your journey, because we can't do that. But we can share our insights and our learnings and things that other people have told us and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
sometimes that won't be applicable to you, and that's why you need to be able to go to
Yeah.
either a prescriber, whoever, just to lean on
You
it.
have to be so aware though, don't you, as well, with
Yeah,
your disclaimer. Like
yeah,
I literally give it out to every single person.
yeah,
Every single person,
yeah,
that this isn't what we're about,
yeah.
So
But it's also one of the things that worries me so much, like particularly on TikTok. TikTok, as much as I
yeah,
love TikTok, actually, TikTok have started tightening up a bit on things, like
come here and I
random things.
tell you. Yeah, come here and I tell you now. There was a huge, massive content creator that I follow on TikTok, and I only usually go over there for a couple of people. She's now on Instagram because she's afraid.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
wild, because if we think 2 months ago, not even, we were seeing how Meta, i.e., Instagram and Facebook, were
Mm.
clamping down. But I got a what you call a strike on
A tap
TikTok
on.
the other day.
Oh,
And it said, because I was like, because like I'm the good boy, like I don't do bold things
I
on
know.
TikTok,
Yeah.
because I'm so mindful of what I do there. Um, but basically, what it said was, um, a comment you posted was removed for violating our community guidelines. Do you want to know what the comment was?
What? Yeah.
Um, Someone was asking about prescriptions and this kind of stuff. So my reply was, if it's from an online pharmacy, these won't be accepted in Ireland, only Northern Ireland. Also, Munjaro is not yet available in Irish chemists.
Full stop.
Full stop. That was the comment. And that got me a strike on TikTok.
Do you think that
And
somebody reported it?
I don't know for what.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing there. So I went to, I appealed it, and then they come back and were like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll overturn it. Yeah, your appeal stands. But then I was like, okay, but can you tell me what was the word, or what
What?
was the trigger, what was the thing, so that I don't do it again? Like, even though
They
you're
won't
saying I'm
tell
right,
you.
it's still showing me as a strike in my account, even though I've done nothing.
Yeah. Oh,
But
you
of
can't
course,
have that, Paddy.
they
You
won't
can't have
reply.
that
Like,
now.
no,
No, they won't.
no,
They
because
no one will tell you.
no, but the thing is though, because if you hit, I think it's like 3 strikes or something like that, you start losing some of your access to
Engage.
things on TikTok,
Oh,
and
like
they can close your account. So
it's the
that's
wild,
what.
wild west over there. That's the
Yeah,
only way I can ever explain it.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, we're gone the
Crazy.
tangent there. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, yeah. So it's wild. So
Nutrition, food,
food. So Belinda, when you were
focus.
starting out, what was your food like, or how did you navigate? So when you were on Ozempic, was that been nearly 2 years ago now? Would have been?
Oh, it's over 2 years. 2 years and going into my third month as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you can
27
remember
months,
back on
108
that
weeks.
month, if you can remember back that month one,
Yes,
where
I
was your
can.
head at in relation to food?
So if you could show a picture here now, you would know exactly where my head was at when I started Ozempic,
Yeah.
because I didn't. To be honest with you, I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah.
I was in
Yeah.
the depths of despair with nutrition, with food. I had completely given up on myself. I thought that there was absolutely no way that this was going to ever happen for me.
Yeah.
So I just stopped trying. And then I took Ozempic. And now it worked for me pretty quick as well. I started feeling the changes in that. And then what happened to me was I didn't change my diet very much. But I think the catalyst for change for me was one day I was running in the door, coming home from work or wherever I was coming from. And usually running in the door at that time, I would have this insatiable hunger and I would just put anything in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like the millions of other people out there, like getting into the bread bin, getting into the fridge, the cupboards, whatever, eating while you're cooking. And one day I walked in the door and that was gone.
Okay.
So that in turn gave me the space in my brain to make a better decision in that
Okay.
moment. And that is what changed for me. That was the big catalyst that changed
Okay.
for me.
Yeah.
And what about you, Paddy?
Um, you see, anytime I have tried to lose weight before, I have normally been pretty good with changing my nutrition from day one. So
Hmm.
that is something I think that's one of the things. Maybe because, and again, for folks that mightn't know, um, I know I've mentioned before, but I'm a qualified personal trainer, and as part of
Yeah.
that as well, you do become a qualified nutritional coach or nutritionist, whatever word you want, not a dietitian. And that's why personal trainers
Yeah.
hate me. Personal trainers are not dietitians, unless of course they've gone and got a registered dietitian qualification as well, which very few have. That is not to say that there's some personal trainers out there who don't have excellent knowledge. They absolutely
Yeah.
do. I'd like to think my knowledge is pretty strong in terms of
Yeah.
nutrition.
No, it's great. Yeah.
But the difference is that a registered dietitian has gone and spent years studying like literally the science of nutrition within humans. Like they've spent years they've dedicated to it, and they're qualified, but more so they are insured to do bespoke nutritional protocols for people. I.e., if you have a
In
medical
on an
condition,
individual basis. Yeah.
exactly. If you have a medical condition, you can go to a dietitian and they can prescribe you an eating approach. A nutritionist, anyone that is not a registered dietitian, okay, essentially that is
Yeah.
using nutritional coach, nutrition, whatever, they are not insured to do
Individual.
nutritional, bespoke nutritional, say, eating plans and stuff like that for you.
Right.
So, like, I couldn't go to you, Belinda, be like, here is a bespoke 7-day eating plan just for you, Belinda, based on your
Metabolism
yeah,
and
based on your condition.
biology.
Now,
Yeah.
that's not to say that there's an awful lot of personal trainers that don't do
Doing
that.
that.
Okay. And look at that's their call. However, what I could do is, hey Belinda, so okay, you're looking to try and lose weight. You are okay, I'm aware you're on this medication. That would mean that, here's the food kind of groups that I would like you to focus on. Here is the maybe the amounts of food or macronutrients, whatever, that could be useful for you to aim towards on like a day-to-day basis or stuff like that. So it's more so more so a general kind of nudge and kind of coaching approach. So it is about nutrition.
And
Uh,
opening up a new line of maybe
yeah,
foods for you, I suppose,
yeah,
as well. Yeah.
yeah. So there is some nuances there.
Now, what was the question, Paddy? I
Yeah.
asked you how
Oh
how
yeah.
you found
Sorry,
it.
I tried thinking week one. So not like us to go off on a tangent.
Yeah, no, you
Um,
were saying, yeah, no, you were saying that usually you changed your nutrition quite quickly when you were
yes.
started
Yeah,
diet.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
right. So I
because of
had
your knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had already changed. I was already focusing on kind of higher protein foods. I will say I probably wasn't focusing as much as I should have though on fiber. So that was definitely
Yeah.
something that I did kind of tweak a
That's
bit.
huge now when you're on a
Yeah,
GLP-1 medication.
yeah.
Huge, 30 grams a
Um,
day.
and the other thing is I would have been a little bit in the mindset of this old school way of thinking called if it fits your macros. So if
Oh,
it fits your
yes.
macros is pretty much, and it works brilliant for
Eat
some people,
whatever.
and it can be effective, but not when you have a poor relationship with food. It's not
Yeah.
the best approach because it
Yeah.
basically says you can eat anything once you hit your macronutrients.
Yeah.
So it can be effective. I'm not going to knock it. It absolutely can be effective if you're on it. But for folks that have a poor relationship with food, it's not probably going to be the healthiest
Yeah.
approach starting out. Because yeah,
I only came across that if it fits your macro. This is some kind of acronym for it, isn't it? When I was doing
IIFYM.
keto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I was doing keto, there was an awful lot of people that were up in arms about keto that were going and changing to if it fits my macros
Macros.
or
Yeah.
whatever. But I wouldn't recommend that for anybody because the calories that are in a Mars bar, say what, I don't know, 400, I don't know,
Yeah.
400 calories in a Mars bar, that's not the same as 400 calories worth of mixed veg and mixed fruit,
Yeah, I mean,
you
so
know?
they, so if you fit your macros, it kind of delves in a little bit more as opposed to just calories in terms of
Yes,
here's
and sugars
here's
and
the
fibers and everything.
here's the specific proteins, the specific fat, and the specific carbohydrates you need to eat. But absolutely, like if you're looking at, say, you have a goal of, well, I don't know, just off the top of my head, so I don't know, 150 grams of carbohydrates, and you're looking at that from, say, your Mars bar versus like a big massive dinner that has a load of veg and all that kind of stuff in it.
Yeah.
Whilst calorie wise they might be the same, and whilst macronutrient wise they may look the same number wise, the impact of those on your body and how supportive they are of your weight loss journey are drastically different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very different.
drastically different.
Yeah. And we know that that's just common sense in itself though, isn't it?
It is,
If you have it.
yeah,
Not everyone has it.
and that's the thing. Like some people will think, and I can understand why they might be like, oh, but if I'm aiming for say 1,800 calories a day, sure, 1,800 calories a day is 1,800 calories a day, and in the mathematics of weight loss, it is, but in the science of health and nutrition, it's not.
Very different.
Very different.
It's not just calories in, calories out. It really isn't.
If you're focusing on overall optimum
Health.
health for your body, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. No.
Yeah.
No. And this
And
is where
that's
you can get into a lot of kind of, oh God, I won't say arguments, but like there is a lot of back and forth
conversations, Paddy.
conversations, depending on where personal
Yeah.
trainers' heads are in relation to nutrition and this kind of stuff. But I think me and you are both aligned in terms of that health first and
School of thought, yeah.
trying to look after your body as much as you can.
Now, the other thing I was going to say on that as well was that I know we spoke about this as well, but the slimming rooms that I would have sat in, I would have eaten a lot of trash food in there because I would have been eating my sins and I would have been getting, like having all of I would try and get in as much junk food as I could, crisps and chocolate and all that kind of stuff within my sin or whatever points or whatever it was. But I don't know, it's a very, very different story now,
Yeah.
And I think it is predominantly as well, pardon me, no, I don't want to make myself sick. I don't want to have a sore stomach. I don't want to have gastric issues and all that kind of stuff. But again, it's about this medication being able to give me and you and everybody else the space to make better nutritional decisions because it stops that mad, mad hunger.
And that was the difference for me in terms of every time I try and lose weight, I could do the healthy eating, but the food noise was there, Belinda.
Yeah.
And that ultimately
Destroyed everything.
single time is what caused me to relapse. So this is where I would have done the effort of tracking every single minuscule thing I would have
Yeah,
eaten.
and 100 times better than everybody else around you.
Absolutely.
And been more active than everybody else around you. I killed myself. I murdered myself for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why when I learned of this idea of food noise, I was like, wait a minute. What?
Fucking crazy. What a fucking concept. Excuse my language.
You're telling me not everybody lives with this? What?
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 Is that not what goes on in everybody's head, minute by minute, every day? No, Belle. No, Paddy, absolutely not.
That blew my mind. Blew my mind.
Because I used to look at people, Paddy, and I used to think to myself, how are they pushing their plate away?
How are they
did
stopping?
that chocolate in the fridge and that bottle of wine and what?
Yeah. So that was the difference. So yes, and as we've said before, people that have tried to lose weight, multiple times over many years, typically their knowledge of nutrition is going to be head and shoulders above the average person who hasn't had to.
But you know what I don't understand, Paddy, right? When you look at the grand scheme of things, the amount of diets you've been on, the amount of clubs you've been on, the amount of things that you've tried, and myself, and millions and billions of people out there, why in the name of God have we just realised what the fuck was wrong with people? Why is this concept only come about now? It's 2025.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Our lives would have been so much different.
It is fascinating. It's
Yeah.
It is
And
mad.
I was watching a documentary the other day. I can't remember what it was. No, that's a lie. I was reading a book. And
Stop lying,
they were
Belinda.
I know, it's chronic. And they were talking about giving GLP-1 medications to adolescents that have this disease of obesity and that have this food noise in their brain. And I literally, and I know I might get slaughtered for this, but I don't give a shit. It's my opinion, is that, yes, if there is a child that had the same goddamn life as I did and you did, stick it in his eye.
Yeah. It's
100%.
yeah, it's like it's one because I was asked this as part of the the TV show that's coming out sometime over the coming weeks.
Oh yeah, that's really soon.
Yeah, I don't have an air date yet for it, but
But we can start advertising it, can't we? Pushing it once there is an air date out, or
Once
we have to wait till it's publicised.
once RTE or the presenter share something on their social media,
Okay,
then
you
yeah,
can do it, and then I'll
yeah.
do it. Okay, I'm so excited.
Yeah, but there was discussion there about children, and adolescents, and stuff like that, and it's part of the Oprah documentary as well. Actually,
Yes, of course. Yeah.
and like for me, like, and I know I think we touched on this in one of the previous ones. Where my head is at is that I don't know enough about adolescents and hormones and any potential impact and stuff like that to be just like, yeah, just give it to them. But equally, and this is the way I worded it in the show.
What's the alternative?
I know that, but again, this is where I'm saying I don't have enough knowledge to say. But if you were to ask 12-year-old Paddy, hey,
Yeah.
there's this thing that could stop you being bullied for the next whatever X number of years in school, and that could support you maybe doing PE and not feeling shamed, and that could help you wear some of the clothes that the other
And
boys are
not get
wearing.
bullied
Exactly.
incessantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, 12-year-old Paddy probably would have jumped at that.
Yeah.
You know?
12-year-old Belle would have stuck it around.
Yeah.
Definitely. I
So
would have.
like that's my kind of answer, I guess, for that is that
Yeah.
yeah,
But just that's only on a personal level. Like, just we're not like you don't have to know everything about everything to have a personal kind of thing on it. I would have taken it, and
Yeah.
and I think if my mother had known what my
Yeah.
life was going to be like, and what no, I'm not saying my life was fucking horrendous. I've had a
Yeah.
great time,
Yeah.
but it could have been that little bit better without the disease of obesity. I
Yeah.
think my mother probably would have made that choice for me as well.
Yeah.
Because
And
she would have struggled as well.
there is trials ongoing or starting soon or whatever about pediatric use of this medication as well. So
Yeah,
that would be
good.
interesting to see what kind of happens with that. So with the knowledge that we have now, and if someone, because I'm just looking through some of the
Hindsight.
questions, some of the questions that I kind of got as well, like on this, and I put up. By the way, the person on Instagram is so context here, folks. Somebody replied to something on Instagram publicly, and I replied back because the question just triggered me a little bit. I was like, oh, that's an odd thing that they've said, and I was like, oh, my usual, oh, what's your doctor say? And like they just like ate into me, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay. I'm
literally.
literally not trying to shame you. I'm just trying to make sure that you're getting the right
Yeah.
here, like.
And your response was so genuine as well.
Yeah, because I do want to help people. But literally, I don't know what. There seems to be two totally different conversations happening because, anyway, social media is a wild place. All I'm saying.
Yeah.
We'll come back with two more replies or something. But anyway, some of the questions were doopy doo. How to stop protein powder tasting disgusting. I'm try-turning up on Mounjaro, currently on 5 milligram to calorie count or not, finding it all overwhelming, especially after Christmas. Just starting out on Mounjaro, not too sure what I should be eating. Any guidance? So we can probably easily cover some of that stuff. You'll hear us talking a lot about protein and fiber.
Yeah.
Protein and fiber.
Because it's really important.
Being like the foundations.
Yeah. And
For
the
things.
reason that we try and push the whole fiber thing, well, I bang on about it incessantly, is because if you're on a GLP-1 medication and you get constipated, I like until I started on a GLP-1, I didn't even know what constipation was. I had no fucking clue, and I didn't realize that it could get so bad. But literally, has this happened to you, Paddy?
Well, you'd be
Did you
shitting if
get-
you get constipated.
Huh?
You'd be shitting if you get constipated.
But it can be debilitating. Like,
Yeah, no, totally. But this, again, this is why the fiber, so important along with the hydration. Do you know? So like,
the hydration is super important along with the fiber.
Yeah.
You have to have them. They go hand in hand.
They do.
And Yeah. And the normal intake for an adult is 30 grams. That's what that's what dietitians would say is 30 grams, 10 grams per meal. But if you're not eating 3 meals a day, then you try and do your best, like kiwis, pears,
Green
chia
veggies.
seeds, flax
Yeah.
seeds.
The like if someone was like in relation to the person asking, oh, I'm starting out day one, what should I be doing? Again, keeping in mind what Belinda said at the start in terms of don't overwhelm yourself from like week one. If you have the headspace to focus on nutrition, brilliant. Okay. Or whenever you get to that space. So what you want to be focusing on, what we kind of say is, okay, definitely look at your protein, look at your fiber, and look at your hydration as a starting point, because
Yeah.
there's three kind of foundational things that will really help you long term and that really need to be sustainable for you. So they are like in terms of the carbohydrates and that. I kind of would work on the basis of portion size, kind of on basically a handful or a fist size or stuff like that for different kind of things. But when I worked with my dietitian at the start, we kind of went through, okay, how much protein do you think I should be having? How many servings of carbohydrates? How many servings of dairy? How many servings of fruit? How many servings of colorful veggies? And that's important. And then other kind of bits and pieces that could be kind of helpful. So
And that's exactly what your dietitian will
yeah, yeah,
help you with.
yeah,
They
yeah.
are like, it's really worth the money to have a dietitian.
Absolutely. Even that
Yeah.
like one appointment just to kind of go through this stuff with them, get a starting thing. And the other thing to keep in mind is if you have health insurance, a lot of the health insurance providers will give you a free like dietitian access via like virtual appointments and stuff like that.
Yep.
So
Look
check
into it.
that out. Absolutely
Yeah.
check that out.
And
Um
they're brilliant. Yeah. I
yeah.
had my dietitian in Beyond BMI was Word. And
Yeah.
she was absolutely brilliant. I remember being on my bed writing down everything she said because I was so interested in like getting knowledge on what I was supposed to be doing correctly, you know.
Yeah.
But she was very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like your your protein, and again, you can go and look online and like how much protein should I be eating if you're looking for a ballpark kind of figure. Like so again, if I relate it to myself, okay, I'm currently about see a lot of this stuff is done in kilos. And
Yeah.
kilos is the one that I will go to last when people are asking me about my
Yes,
weight. I'm
same.
like
Yeah, it's stones,
pounds.
pounds, then kilos.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm pounds then stones
Oh,
then
right,
kilos. Yeah.
right, right,
And even when I
right.
was up to the doctor and the doctor was asking me about my weight and I said, "Oh, pounds or stones?" He said kilos. I was like, "Oh."
What?
So I did a quick
No.
math. I was like, "Oh, I think about this," and I think I was like half a kilo out. So I was like, "Oh, well done,
Yeah,
buddy."
yeah, yeah, nice. Yeah.
But so
Is it
I'm
two
gonna
and a half pounds per kilo? 2.5?
roughly in and around the
Yeah.
2.2 ish, I think it is.
Hang on.
Um, oh, it's right, 2.2. Yeah, so 1 kilo
Oh,
is 2.
2.2, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
1 kilo is 2.2 pounds.
Right.
So I'm going to apply this to me
2.2.
just to give you an idea of like, okay, Paddy, how much protein would you be aiming for? If I was on the assumption of 115 kilograms in weight, okay? For protein, Paddy would be aiming for, if I was in the region of, say, 90 to 125 grams, okay? If I was in that region, I'd be
And that
very
would be split over 3 meals.
whatever amount of meals, whatever. I don't worry about the number of meals at all. It's
Yeah.
the number of
That's
meals at the
something I
time.
worry about because I only eat twice a day.
Yeah, no, the number of meals, the timing, and that kind of stuff is really. I would not get
Yeah.
into the kind of
Don't
grass of
beat
that at all.
yourself up with
No,
that kind
no,
of crap.
because the nutrients are still going into your body.
Yeah.
You're not
But
your body's.
also, Paddy, people do worry about it because I worried about it where I was supposed to be getting 110 grams of protein, but I was only eating twice a day. So this,
And that's fair enough, and I can understand that. But what I'm saying is sometimes people will be like, "Oh, do I need to have protein within like half an hour of doing my workout,
oh,
or
yeah.
can I not have a carbohydrate after 6 o'clock?" That's what I mean. Don't worry about any of that.
Oh,
Once,
yeah. Yeah,
once
yeah,
your
yeah.
total over a day or a couple of days can averages out, that's sound. That's grand. Don't
Yeah.
get too caught up in
Yeah.
it. But so I'd
So
be aiming.
what's a really, really, really easy way to get your protein into you?
Okay, so the best source, again, thinking optimum health, is going to be
Real.
your kind of your lean meats. Those are kind of like your go to really.
With
So
whole foods, not.
yeah, so protein specifically would be typically, if it's going to come from a natural source, it would be because it's your turkey, your chicken, your fish,
Yeah.
your eggs, some of your like nuts and seeds and stuff like that as well. Can be a good source of protein. Obviously, if somebody is a vegan, that's where you look at that. Your tofu, like your cottage
Beans
cheeses, your
and
quark,
beans
all,
and.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, your beans. So there is a big selection of food out there that can be your natural source of protein. Now, if I was to try and eat 115 grams of protein from those sources, I could probably do it, but I'd probably get bored and probably struggle some days to get that. Like when I started, I should have been aiming for in and around 150 grams of protein. I was struggling. I was like, there's no
That's a
way.
lot.
There's
Yeah.
no way I'm going to hit that. So this is where then people will look at, okay, well, how can I supplement this somehow? And by the way, we're not saying you have to. If you're hitting, a healthy amount of protein, that's fantastic. You don't need supplements, okay? But if you're somebody you're like, do you know what? I keep hitting like maybe like 50, 60 grams of protein. I just can't get the food into me. This is where the likes of like what I have here that I'm drinking at the moment is it's a clear protein drink. So it's not one that needs milk. It's not a really heavy digestive one. It tastes just like a squash, like a diluting
Yeah,
drink.
literally a squash.
So
Which
it's
one have
a
you got there? You've got what?
strawberry kiwi.
And I have peach tea.
Mm.
And my one's got, I think, is it 26 grams of
Oh, yeah, I
protein
think
per
so. Yeah, yeah,
drink? Yeah, so I got my 2 liter container. I put in the stuff in it and
yeah,
just shook it up, and it's like drinking peach
yeah,
tea. Now
yeah,
it's not supposed to be drank with 2 liters of water. It's
yeah,
supposed to be
yeah,
drank with a small. I couldn't. Yeah, but
yeah.
it's just
It
another
can
way,
taste very
an
strong,
extra.
some of them. Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so you'd have your protein powders again, like one of the traditional protein powders. So again, that one we were talking about there, these are clear protein powders
Way, yeah,
that are
for water.
that you don't make on milk. So they're not that kind of milky kind of one. But if you're looking for that milky kind of one, because again, you'll get your calcium, which will be great for your bones, um, and you'll also get some protein from the milk as well, or you can
Yeah,
even mix it with some protein milk.
and you
Um,
can lash a load of fiber into it as well.
you could add a
Yeah,
scoop in if you want to make up like a smoothie or something like that as well. Like you
yeah,
do, you make up a
yeah. I do. Yeah. So, I,
beast of a smoothie.
yeah. Should I just say what I put into
Yeah,
it?
go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
Actually, so I have half milk, half water, and I have the protein powder. I have peanut butter powder from my protein. I have chia seeds, milled chia seeds, milled flax seeds, and a frozen banana.
Okay.
And I put a bit of mango in it the other day. So that is coming up to about 17 or 18 grams of fiber with about 45 grams of protein in it.
Yeah.
And it's about this size
And
of a
that lasts
NutriBullet.
you a period of time.
Oh my God, if I drank it at 2, I barely would eat my dinner.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, and it would take me about an hour to drink it
yeah,
as well
yeah,
because it's so, yeah,
yeah,
but it, like I use ice cream flavored vanilla whey protein powder and oh my God, I just love it.
love it. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
a chocolate orange flavored protein powder, normal protein powder that you
Nice.
shake with the milk or whatever, and it's so good.
Beautiful, is it?
So good.
I
Yeah.
love protein
Yeah.
powders.
But
Yeah.
then the other ways that you can focus on it as well will be things like there is so many protein foods out there now, like even in Aldi or Lidl. Like you have protein pizzas, you have yogurts, you have other drinks, you have bars, you have biscuits, you have protein popcorns, protein crisps, like all this.
Anything you can imagine is
Oh,
slapped the word protein on it.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
also be careful.
Yeah, well, that's the thing because you still want to
Yeah.
be mindful of the
Sugar
kind of sugar
content and
content and the fat content somewhat in it. But there are so many options out there in
yeah.
terms of the proteins. And again, once they are the supplementary sources as opposed to your full go-to, because you do want to think overall nutrients, it's kind of, yeah, it's brilliant. Then,
Let's just say at this point as well, for anyone who's listened to this and has just started out, none of this needs to be done right now.
no,
None of it.
let
Because
your,
I can feel how people would feel
Yeah,
if
yeah,
they're
yeah.
listening to me and you.
Yeah.
We've got so much knowledge between us, and there's somebody at home sitting there going, "Oh my God, am I supposed to be doing all of this?" No, you're not.
Yeah. Just
Relax,
get
chill
comfortable
out.
with the journey that you're on. And when the
Yeah,
time, if it's like a week, 2 weeks, a month, where you're like, okay, that protein thing, I want to try and make sure I'm getting enough now.
yeah,
And by the way, actually, we should talk about why protein is so important and
yeah. Go
why
on,
there's
you
a
do
focus
that.
on it.
You do
And
that.
so with protein, one of its key things it does is to help look after your muscle health. Okay, so that's one thing. When you're on any weight loss journey, you will inevitably lose some muscle mass along with fat whilst you're losing weight. What the trials have shown, specifically for Monjaro, is that about 25% of the weight that you lose will come from muscle mass. So, this is why we talk about strength training being so
Mm.
important, because it will help to protect your muscle, and also the protein then will help to look after the muscle health as well. So, this is one of the reasons. The other one as well.
After when you do strength training, the protein will help your muscles to regenerate, won't it?
Yeah, so
It will
yeah,
help
that's
them
it.
to not
Repair,
regenerate. What's the word I'm looking for?
repair.
Repair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. So yeah, so when you work out and your muscles are sore and all this kind of stuff, the protein is kind of like the, hey, we're here, we're going to look after you, we're gonna mind this
Mm.
muscle and bring it back, and yeah. So so the protein is really important for that. From a nutritional and digestive perspective, the reason why protein is so important is that it is one of the key foods to help you with that level of fullness, which the medication
Hmm.
helps with. So that
Yeah,
satiety
that's a
feeling.
huge part for it, isn't it?
Really important, yeah. So like,
Yeah.
and that's not even on this medication, but any kind of weight loss journey, protein is so important because it just helps you feel fuller for longer. It's
Yep.
just one of its natural things. So, you know,
One of its
and
natural benefits.
yeah, it is. It's
Yeah.
brilliant. And often you will hear people talking about, um, being scared of hair loss in this type of journey. I had somebody ask me about that during the week, and I said, well, usually if you're
Oh
looking at
yeah.
that, this is where I'm looking at. Well, are you getting enough food and enough protein in? Actually, because that can be a source for it on any weight loss journey.
Yeah,
It's
oh,
not
well,
because of
that's what
any
I was just
medication.
going to say because somebody reached out to me about that last week, and I put up a carousel about it. And it's just because you're on a GLP-1 journey and you've lost 5 or 6 stone, it's not the fault of the GLP-1 medication. It's because you've lost 6 stone or 5 stone, and that will happen to anybody in any weight loss journey. It's about the weight loss and not the medication.
Yeah, and the hair loss can come specifically if you're not getting enough nutrients in on that journey. So
Yes.
that's why we say time and time again, this isn't a diet. You want to
And it
nourish
can't
your
be.
body. Yeah, you want to nourish your body so that
Hmm.
these things don't happen, these side effects that you hear people kind of talking about.
Yeah.
Um, then we talk about fiber. Look at fiber, as we know, in terms of digestive health, gut health. It's just like a building block that helps your digestive system and your gut stay healthy, can help you stay regular, which is so important as well because
Yeah.
your bowel movements might not be as frequent when you're on this journey. So that's
Yeah.
why when they are, you want to just make sure that they're not uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and that you're kind of doing what you can to look after yourself there.
Yeah.
Um, so some of the other things now that might be interesting. So fruit. We know fruit is really, really healthy and really important to eat. Equally, it's one of the ones you need to be somewhat mindful of how much fruit you're getting in.
Mm.
So, and this is, and I want to be really careful how I say this. I'm not suddenly going to say, oh, if you mash a banana, it's bad for you. Okay, that's not where
Oh
this is
my God,
going.
trauma.
Yeah. The reason why I'm saying just be mindful of the fruit. So, like if you're aiming for your, say, 5 or 6 portions of fruit or vegetables, they should not be all from fruit. And
Mm.
the reason is the majority of fruit will cause spikes in your blood sugar. This medication works to control your blood sugar. So if you're constantly spiking your blood sugar with a lot of fruit in it, again, it can kind of make it a little bit more challenging for how effective the medication can be at times if you have a high fruit diet. And again, that was something that like I would have been aware of before, but even in the discussions with the dietitian, they're like, Patty, out of this kind of 5 or 6, I only want you to have 2, maybe 3 portions of fruit. The rest needs to come from your veg. Get as much colourful veg as you
That's what
want.
I was told as well.
Yeah.
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 So it's just
And they were right. It's a very very different type of sugar, isn't it, to the processed sugar that you would eat.
so the way it reacts in your so the sugar in the fruit on its own will react in a
Fructose.
similar way, but where the nuance is that, say, the sugar from a Mars bar versus the sugar from, say, a banana and a peach and a bowl of strawberries. The difference is you're getting a good amount of fiber in that
With
helps
that.
with that you're not going to get
Yeah.
from like a Mars bar. So
Yeah.
that's where there is the difference, and that's why we're like, look, at absolutely fruit is healthy
Yeah.
for you. Get your fruit in, but equally, if you're there like having 10 portions of fruit, that
Every
actually
day.
might not be the healthiest thing for you and for anyone, even in terms of your
Yeah.
teeth. Like it's
Yeah.
still a lot of sugar you're getting in. So
And the thing that like, I know I keep banging on about it, but that just brings me back to the slimming rooms as well. Like it was just a free for all on the
yeah, fruit.
fruit
Yeah, yeah,
all the time, fruit, fruit,
yeah,
fruit, and nobody knew why
yeah.
they weren't losing weight. Yeah.
But yeah, so I say
And
absolutely
I
get
love
rid
fruit.
of
I
it.
love it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love fruit. I love it.
I love it. I love
Absolutely
it.
love
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Do you know a funny thing? We were down in Tramore in Waterford
I
when
used
my
to go there on,
brother.
I used to go there
Did
on holidays
ya?
as a
Oh,
child.
it's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, we went to Splash World, my brother and the family and their boys. And I had such we were coming off the back of days of eating and nice food. I had an uncontrollable urge to have fruit. And I had to leave the boys there, and I just went into Aldi and I bought a
yeah.
load of ready-made chopped up fruit and stuff, and it was just
Best.
it was just so lovely. Just so lovely.
One
Yeah.
of my favorite foods to have, and there's only one supermarket that I like it from. Okay, because none of the others, whatever way they prepare it, does not come close. But Asda do the chopped up mango, and every time I get it for the last few years, it is bang on ripe. It is.
Nice.
It's not firm. It's
Fleshy.
it's
I love it.
so
I bought 2 bags of mango the other day, frozen,
yeah.
and I took them out about an hour before to put them in my smoothie, and I ate them without putting them in my smoothie. It's so
And,
nice.
and mango is one that will help with keeping you
Will it? Your
keep. Oh
digestive.
my God! If you're in need of
Oh,
a little bit of a SOS to get to the
yeah, yeah,
bathroom,
yeah.
like
Oh, I didn't
mango.
know that. I
Yeah,
love mango.
yeah. So
Love
like
it.
the same way if you have those the sugar-free foam sweets from I does it Little or Aldi that have them. And
Oh,
now they're
lactulose.
yeah they're working because they're so full of sweetener, and sweetener is a
Yeah,
natural laxative. But the mango is yeah, you'll know if
yeah,
you've eaten too much
yeah,
mango.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
You and
those
that.
jellies, they remind me of no, I won't say it, but
But
they're just
yeah,
so no good.
because when people ask me about constipation, I'd be like, well, look, obviously you can go and you can get the chemist, you can
Get
get this,
something from
and
your
this.
yeah.
Absolutely. But, bear in mind if you're doing that, most laxatives like that, you will need again a good amount of water because the way they work. Or try if you're getting a treat for yourself, go and have a few of the sugar-free foam sweets and they're like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Paddy, did you know that on the back of the full fuel is a full fuel
yeah, yeah,
bars?
fulfill, yeah.
Fulfill. There's a warning saying that this may cause a laxative effect.
So any
It's
food that is
full of
high,
sugar.
yeah, any sweetener,
Sweetener,
sweetener.
sorry.
So
Yeah.
any food that is high in sweetener or that has sweetener in it, sorry, will usually have that warning on it
Yeah.
because that's,
Crazy.
yeah. And
Yeah.
again, it'll usually be those types of fat-free or sugar-free foods because in place of
They
the
have to
fat and
replace
in
the
place
taste.
of the sugar, they replace the taste with sweetener, and that's why they
Yeah.
can be seen
Yeah.
as laxatives. Yeah, yeah. But obviously, you want your digestive health coming from your natural foods to help keep you regular as well. So
Yeah.
that's
And
i.e.
that's your safest bet, isn't it?
Yeah, so again, that's like ideally those colorful kind of veggies. Like
Yeah.
if you're sitting down and you're just seeing kind of pale colored veg and that's
Like
it.
carrots and
Like I'm
not
thinking
broccoli,
like
but cauliflower and stuff like that.
yeah, you want a colorful selection of
Yeah.
vegetables as much as you can. Much you can. Get
Yeah.
in, your
Your
peppers and
fruit and your fiber, or your fruit and your vegetables. Yeah.
yeah.
It's all common sense, and I know that not everyone's born with that, so
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard.
And then obviously you have your dairy, which is going to be really important as we touched on as well before, making sure that you're in a few portions of that in throughout the day, your milks, your protein drinks as we touched on, your yogurts, even your cheeses in there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As a little treat can be useful. And actually, is it Aldi? Aldi and Lidl both do a high protein cheese, but one of them has one that is like, is it like 10 grams of protein per sliced cheese or something like
Super
that?
value.
Do Super
That's
Value have
super
it? Maybe
value.
it's there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what's this? And I
Yeah.
got it, and it tasted exactly like my favorite white cheddar vintage cheese that I used to
Love
get.
cheese, Patty, so much.
Oh, so
I
good.
love cheese. I stuff
Yeah,
it with wine.
so good. I had some cheese and wine over Christmas. Wensleydale.
Nice.
Wensleydale.
With the cranberries in it.
Mm,
And I had whatchamacallit chutney with that the last time I ate it. Onion marmalade, like, kind not yeah.
nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love a bit of brie. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
yeah. So like there's the main kind of food groups obviously you need to be thinking of over your journey when you're comfortable with it. The other kind of things, yeah, I'd love to know is there other things that a dietitian has ever told you to take? Like there's a lot of talk about electrolytes,
No,
collagen, all these other
no.
things.
No,
Yeah.
no, I will say I did get collagen from Aldi, no, from Lidl's the other day, and I
Yeah.
got some pre-workout from Lidl's, and
Yeah.
I got my creatine from Lidl's. The collagen I put into my coffee because that's what
Okay.
people do. I didn't like it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Didn't like
I've
it.
never
Yeah,
taken collagen, never. And the only time I've
yeah,
seen it, predominantly the hype with it has been people on TikTok. And as soon as I see every second video on TikTok, people pushing collagen, I'm like,
yeah.
mm. But there are
I
benefits.
got I Yeah, I kind of got the collagen and the creatine off the back of the kind of research I was doing on brain fog,
Yeah, yeah.
perimenopause, all that kind of stuff. So that's why I got that. That's why I got the creatine anyway, and the collagen won't harm you
No, no, no.
if
And,
you're.
and that's when if someone is worried about the health of their nails or their hair, collagen is the go-to.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this.
and your skin, yeah,
Yeah.
especially at our age. Yeah,
What do you mean by that? Especially at our
I
age.
forgot. Well, we're only 42, Patty. Only 42.
You're rude.
I know. Our birthdays are soon. You're only going to be turning
43.
43. I'll be turning 49. I'm going to
Yeah.
be 50 soon. God,
God,
I
don't
really
be
don't
age.
think.
Grand, grand.
I don't feel like I'm
Yeah.
turning 50, but anyway.
So the only thing extra that I've been told to take or guided to take by a dietitian was a good multivitamin. That's
Right.
the only thing a dietitian advised me to take was a good multivitamin. They said you don't have to spend a fortune on it. And I asked two different dietitians this. One said, well, if you're confident that you're getting the nutrients in from your food, don't worry too much about the multivitamin. If you're like, there's some days you're struggling to get your food in, yeah, a multivitamin definitely would be a good shout. So a good A to Z multivitamin doesn't have to be a mad expensive one. Yeah, that's kind of the only other
Yeah,
thing.
I wasn't given any advice now from my dietitian to go and do that. Maybe
Yeah,
I should have asked actually.
yeah.
But have you seen my stories today, Paddy?
About you've stories up about some the bits and pieces you've bought and the cost of them, the breakdown per week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I've invested in some really good supplements to help with my cognitive ability and my brain fog and all of that. And the lady in the store was saying, and I suppose she said you're buying these to help you with. And I went, yeah, brain fog. And she goes, right. And I was just saying to her, like, back in 2020, Patty, I was working and I was running 3 departments
yeah,
and I was so fucking switched on. I could have been thinking about 1,700 things
yeah.
at one time and I would have managed all of it. And I couldn't think of the word grass the other day when I was fucking looking at grass. But that's the deterioration. Even though I'm on HRT and
Yeah.
I thought, well, the HRT is definitely going to fix this. Did it?
Yeah.
No. It's fixing
And
everything else, but not this.
so, when you say that you were looking at grass, we're not talking Martha
In the
Stewart.
field.
Okay, yeah,
In the
in the
field.
field. Yeah,
Martha
okay.
Stewart. Doesn't she bloody do
Wasn't it Martha Stewart?
advertisements for big lighters now?
Yes, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just
Yeah. With Snoop
happy.
Dogg.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Brilliant. There's also a lot of people
Yeah.
talk about electrolytes.
Yeah.
I asked dietitian about electrolyte. They're like, if you're getting enough water in and you're getting like, some bit of salt in your food and stuff like that from time to time, or just through the type of foods you're having or whatever, don't worry too much about it. But
Yeah.
definitely some people swear by electrolytes. There's no harm in having them, to be honest. So, if it's a case that you're
There's a
struggling
lovely
with,
one. Yeah, there's a lovely one in Super Value, Kinetic.
oh yeah, Connecticut, yeah.
and it's like yeah, Connecticut, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's down where the health stuff is, and it's
Mm.
by the protein powder, and it's €7, I think. You get
Okay.
like 10 or
Yeah.
12 in them, and they're really nice in your water. I've
Yeah.
stopped buying them now because I was using them as just a drink,
Drink,
just
get
walking
you.
around
Yeah.
with a drink. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
price.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, totally. Now, when I
yeah.
was doing CrossFit, and I was doing CrossFit like 3 or 4 times a week,
Oh my God.
and I was drinking a lot of water during those like really intense
Yeah.
workouts, and I was doing this blend at like 23, 24 stone. So that's a whole other story. But anyway,
CrossFit, oh my God.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
What a
yeah,
lot to carry, mate.
yeah. So during them, because of how much I was kind of sweating during those workouts and how much hydration I needed to replace, I definitely was taking my electrolytes during that period of time. So
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely, and sometimes I still would if I know I'm going to do a workout or stuff. I would, but it's not something that I would be overly obsessed about or worried about.
Yeah, I did for a little while, but I'm over it now because the price of them. But
Yeah,
when I was on keto, there was so much buzz around electrolytes
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
getting it in that I used to make my own electrolyte. I used to
Okay.
fizzy water
Yeah.
with lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, salt, two
Bleh.
different types of salt.
Ah, no,
Cut the
no, I
guts out of me,
couldn't.
Patty. It was
And see,
so
I don't,
good.
I don't like salt. I rarely add salt to my food, so I
God,
don't
I love
rarely
it.
ever add salt to my food. No,
Really?
no,
Oh my
rarely.
God, my cousin's a chef and she
No,
absolutely murders me for using
no.
salt.
I-
She knows who she is.
If it is, maybe potato, maybe chicken,
Oh my
and
God.
maybe chips. But even then, not always. So they're probably the only kind of foods I would ever think about putting salt on.
Why?
I
Just
just
don't
don't
like
like.
it?
Don't like it. I don't like salty
I
stuff. Yeah.
absolutely love it.
No. No.
And I know I shouldn't, but I do.
No. No. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Doesn't appeal to me at all.
Yeah. Funny, isn't
Um.
it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Mm.
Um. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I think we've covered most of the questions that come in.
Yeah, I think we have. Yeah, yeah. And I think we just want to be a little bit mindful as well of everyone out there that's listening to us and are just starting out their journey, just to kind of take it easy on yourself. But
The one.
do come back and listen to this when you're ready as well.
Yeah. The one question that's there actually that we didn't touch on is counting calories. Have you ever counted calories at any stage during your journey?
GLP-1, yeah,
You have.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I dip in and dip out of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do it to refocus myself
Yeah.
if I'm just a bit kind of not even eating bad, but not remembering what I've eaten.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do that then. And to be honest with you, Patty, for the first time in my life, calories they're not the top of my list.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
I'm looking at my app and I'm inputting all my food for the day, it's the last thing I look at.
Yeah.
Because like that shake I was talking about earlier, that could be upwards of 600 calories. But I can't care about that because
Yeah.
it's given me so much more
Yeah. Yeah.
than,
100%.
and I
Yeah.
won't eat I won't eat another 700, 800, 900 calories in my dinner.
Yeah.
So, but if you're not eating enough, I think you definitely need to start looking at that.
Yeah.
What do you
I
think?
think, yeah, like it's interesting because this is going to sound mad. Every single other weight loss attempt I've done,
I'm
even
obsessed.
probably when I was on Slimming World and anything else, I would have tracked my food religiously
Oh
in my
no.
Fitness Pal. I mean, religiously.
Yeah.
This
And that was
is
torture. Did you find it torture?
it
Or did you
became
think you were having a great time enjoying it?
it became a behavior.
Yeah.
Like I was weighing things to the
Learned.
gram. Yeah, yeah. Um, this is
Yeah.
so the first week of this journey, I tracked it. Nothing to do with calorie wise though. It was purely just to see how much protein was I getting in. That was the only reason that I did it. Since then, I haven't really tracked at all because
Right.
I don't want to be taking that approach. I am much more interested in that kind of intuitive eating in terms of listening to my body when it's physically full. So when I get that hunger pang or that kind of, ooh,
Yeah.
I'm peckish,
Yeah.
that's my signal. Okay, I'm going to eat. And then equally the same when I'm full. Like once I get that, ooh, Paddy, you're getting full, or Paddy, you're going to be uncomfortable now if you keep eating this. That's my cues. And it hasn't set me wrong over the last nearly 7 months, you know.
And did you look into intuitive eating? Did you know what it was before you started
Well,
doing it?
I mean, like
You're
I,
obviously aware of Sinead, aren't you, from Intuitive Eating Ireland? Do you
I
follow
am,
her?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't follow. I am aware of the account, yeah.
yeah,
The like intuitive eating in itself is
yeah.
not a new thing. It's the way people who have not
Have
struggled.
always, I understand, yeah. But it's trying to get back to it is
I
the
like.
thing.
I was going to say it's
I
the
would
way,
never be able to practice that. I tried. I bought a book,
but
but I couldn't.
yeah, because I think it's listening to that cue from your body of am I hungry, am I full, is one of the most powerful things long term that you can do.
But Patty, I can only do that now because of the medication.
Yeah. 100%. That's what I mean. Oh, like
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know you're saying it in the context of I don't count calories anymore.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
listen to my body. And I think as well because you know enough about nutrition, you don't need to do.
And again, if I wasn't on this medication and if I was listening to my body, I'd be eating all day because of the
Yeah.
food noise.
You,
So
yeah.
absolutely. What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
in the context of me being on this medication, it allows me the space to listen to my body.
Yes.
Are you
Of course.
hungry? Are you full? And as a result of that, I don't need to now, which we've touched
You
on
don't need to
before.
calorie count. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Track.
So
Yeah.
I would say if you find that it is going to not be something you obsess about and that will genuinely help you, give it a go. However, it's not something that's going to be sustainable long term for
Long
you.
term.
So
Yeah.
just keep that thing in your mind as well. Like you don't want to be here
Yeah.
6 months, a year down the
So
line. Where
I,
you're like,
yeah, exactly. And it is something that you need to be wary of, that if you have that kind of personality that you may very well gotta get obsessed with it. But you know what, Paddy, I think if I think about it hard enough, because I was in the slimming room for so long, I never knew what I should have been doing, what I should have been eating. Nobody ever taught me about exactly what a calorie was, how many I should be taking in a day. So when I started on the GLP-1 and I did have a bit of space and I did have a bit of grace around food and hunger, I started to get more interested in the food that I was putting into my body, because I was able to do that for the first time in my life, you know. And I use the calorie counting on my app as a tool for me to know what's in the food I'm putting in my mouth. And I
Yeah.
would never track that food again
yeah.
because I now know.
The other risk, and something you touched on there just reminded me of this. The other risk is if you think of, say, somebody like, say, if I think of say myself, when I was 24 odd stone or something like that, you know, and if I was to do my calculator for how many calories I kind of needed or stuff like that, most people won't believe the answer because
Is this a deficit?
no, well, no, in terms of what's needed to maintain it. So I probably would have got an amount at 24 stone, based on like my activity and all that kind of stuff. I would have guessed that my maintenance calories would have been something like maybe 4,500. Okay,
Knew it.
roughly. Yeah,
Yeah.
roughly. That's just off the top of my head. I could be way out.
Yeah.
But the ballpark
Yeah.
would say 4,500. That means for me to be in a calorie deficit, even anything like 3,500 would have been a decent deficit. But if somebody had came to me like, Paddy, you can eat 3,500 calories to lose weight, I'm like, no, that can't be right. That can't be right.
Yeah.
I need to be eating 1,000. I need to be eating 500. And
But
this,
people, that's
yeah,
the mentality.
yes. And this is where sometimes when people are like YOLOing it, kind of looking at these things, like, I know, feck that. I'm not going with that. That looks too high. And I had this out with somebody, not, and I don't mean out in a bad way, but back and forth teasing it out on TikTok there a couple of months ago, where they're like, Paddy, I feel I'm not eating enough. I'm always tired. I'm always this. Or sorry, they were like, I'm always tired. Da, da, da. And I was like, how much are you eating?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, I think probably like, about 800-900 calories. I was like,
Yeah, I've
regardless.
had that.
I was like, first of all, I can tell you now that's way too little. It's way too little. So I don't do this normally because it's too time consuming, but there was a lot of conversation going on. I was like, okay, tell me your activity level, tell me your weight, tell me your. So I got a bit of info from them. And I went back and I said something like, okay,
Oops,
oh,
apologies.
there is your alarm. I was like, okay, I want it, like, I think you'd be comfortable if you were aiming for like 2,500, 2,700 calories. And they were like, I don't believe that. I was like,
Absolutely not. Yeah,
yeah. And
but
I was
that's
like,
to nourish your body and to make your body work for you.
but this, I was like, I don't, I'm not overly bothered if you believe it. I'm telling you, this is the answer. You
Yeah,
asked me, and this is the
yeah,
answer.
yeah.
And they came back to me about a week later and they were like, oh my God,
Yeah.
the difference in my energy levels, my enjoyment of
Sleep.
food, my mood, everything, because I've upped it and it's actually not having an overly detrimental effect on my kind of weight loss. Now,
She probably wasn't losing any weight either. Or
well,
him or she.
yeah,
Yeah, you
so
know.
it's it's yeah, like there's so much nutrition, but this is again what we're saying. As much as we're talking about things here, the only person who can really give you your bespoke insight into what you specifically should be doing for your nutrition and your journey and your medical
Your
kind
weight
of
loss.
status
Yeah.
would be a registered dietitian, a Kuru, ideally, registered dietitian or somebody that is, registered with the dietitian bodies that
And
they're legit.
if you had given her that advice and a dietitian had given her that person that advice, then she would have believed that dietitian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
But
they
like,
are, I'll always say it, they're worth it.
yeah,
Health coaches are worth it as well. Big
yeah.
time.
They're definitely
Yeah.
worth that kind of investment in yourself. And so they're not the type of thing
Yeah.
that you need every week or every month or anything whatsoever. It could be a case that you
And
meet
like
with
you
a
said
dietitian.
earlier, Patty, as well, you can get it off your
Yeah,
insurance as well.
yeah.
Even if they're not going to pay for it fully, they will give you something.
And this is
So,
where, if you're getting a medication like, say, Ozempic or Saxenda or one of the similar type ones from your doctor at the moment, I would always say ask your doctor for a referral to dietitian as well. Please ask your doctor for a referral to dietitian as well, because again, doctors aren't dietitians, so they're not.
no,
You know,
oh my God.
so
They're not a
you can
lot of things.
a lot of doctors. Now there'll be some brilliant ones out there, and again, they'll have
Yeah.
excellent knowledge. But the majority of what I've seen and heard is here's a leaflet. You know,
Look, that's the same with the GLP-1 medication, the Mounjaro, everything that's coming on
yeah,
board. No, they're not getting any
yeah,
education about it
yeah,
unless they're turning their computer around, tapping it into Google or wherever they get their information from at the
yeah,
time while you're sitting there. That was my experience when I asked my doctor for it. He just pulled around his screen, do Mounjaro, cancer in rats. No, can't have
yeah,
it. Went, oh, okay, well, thanks.
yeah.
And walked out of there.
It's mad.
Yeah.
And I guess just maybe to think about the other side of things, then that there can be foods that if you have these, not to say you can't, and not everyone will, but that some people might find that they feel a bit icky afterwards. And this one we were chatting about, I think, before we came on air as well. So things like
High
alcohol,
fat,
yeah,
high sugar.
sugar,
And do you know
refined
what?
carbohydrates,
Yeah, the
fried
worst, the
foods.
worst thing is, we'll say high fat and high sugar, but if you eat a food that's high fat and high sugar, boom, you're dead.
No, disclaimer, you're not dead. And again,
No, you won't die.
you won't. Okay, there are some people that would be fine with this, but when you're looking at what's going to what has the greater likelihood of giving you some discomfort, it's probably going to be these types of foods. And I think
And
both myself
alcohol.
and Belinda, yeah, both myself and Belinda can probably link back to if we've had days where like our tummy's been a bit like, ooh, we can probably like,
And we know immediately.
I had this yesterday, or I had that yesterday,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever the case might be.
Now, I will say the whole thing about alcohol as well is the only way alcohol affected me is because I was eating so little food when I started out and I was drinking. You obviously know what happens. Everybody knows
Yeah,
what happens when you've no food in your stomach and things don't end up well.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It
So
can.
that's a really, really important thing to remember. If you're
Yeah,
starting out, you have to eat enough, like if you are
yeah.
going to take on alcohol.
And like the thing is, as far as I'm aware, there isn't any proven like clinical results to say, oh, alcohol causes this. However, if you're somebody, we know in general, alcohol, if you have a lot of it, can make you feel a bit shitty. And if,
Yeah.
again, if you think that this medication slows down digestion of food and stuff that you have in that, typically alcohol can be high in sugars, and as a result, high in calories. So that's why, again,
It's a lot of calories as well.
there can be like, unless you're going for things that are like naturally lower calories, like your spirits, they're usually the best of the bad
Cheap
lot.
whiskey. It's always a good one.
Whiskey, vodka, gin, tequila, they'd be kind of some of the
Yeah.
ones that would typically be.
Clear ones are
Uh, and again,
less
drink
calories.
drink responsibly. Drink responsibly.
Oh yeah, drink responsibly,
Drink responsibly.
everybody.
Drink responsibly. Um, I don't drink a huge amount myself.
No, you don't.
No, I
No.
don't.
You
But
you inspired me actually, Paddy. You were the one that inspired me. I think I told you that already, didn't I?
that's nice.
Yeah. So when did I stop when did I give that over then? I think around the 14th of December.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, I stopped drinking the 14th to 15th of December and I joined the gym at the same time.
Yeah. Which is brilliant. Like,
I know, yeah. And I thought to myself, look, just fucking, if you're going to do it, just do it. Dive in.
yeah.
And I've got, I paid up for a 6-week kind of introduction thing. And they
Yeah.
did my, what the body thing you were talking about?
Composition, yeah.
What is it?
Your body composite, your in body, it's called.
In body, it's
right,
called, yeah, your body composition thing. So I won't do that again now till the 6 weeks is over.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
that'll be good. And I haven't gotten my bloods from my doctor either yet. I keep forgetting to do that.
Probably the snow. So this week in Ireland, well,
Oh no, yeah.
this week in the
Well,
bottom
not for
half,
Paddy, for Belinda, absolutely.
so depending on when you're listening to this podcast, there's been snow in Ireland this week in the bottom half of Ireland. I love snow, and I'm gutted that we didn't get any up here where I live.
Yeah, you're up north.
Yeah, I'm
But
like,
the kids are off school. Kids were supposed to go back to school on Monday, and we got snowed in. No school today, and we thought they'd go back tomorrow, but no, they're snowed in again tomorrow. And the gym, the Pilates, the swimming pool, they're all closed. There's no bread to be got. There's no milk to be got.
Bread
There's
and
no
milk.
toilet roll to be got. It's chronic. And lads, if you have ever lived in any other country that suffers from snowstorms, there's like 3 inches of snow on our ground.
yeah, it's gas. It's wild.
Yeah.
Wild. And then there's all this
Yeah.
drama on Facebook of the different weather channels bitching
my
at each
gosh.
other about, oh, you shouldn't be saying this, and you shouldn't be saying that, you shouldn't be doing this one, you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, get me popcorn.
There's only one man, though. There's only one man, and that's the Carlo weatherman.
Oh, it's gas. Isn't it Alan? Is it Alan from Carlo?
Yeah.
It's gas. So what? I couldn't believe reading this drama like on one of the posts. Like, but anyway, so that's what's been going on this week in Ireland, in Ireland, kind of weather-wise and stuff like that.
Now, I will say that everybody's electricity bill and oil bill and gas bill is going to be up in the moon. Paddy, it's not been off.
No, same here.
I keep screaming at the kids to put on your snooty, put on fluffy socks.
You see, I am and I've said this before. I live 99.9% of my time in shorts and t-shirt.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God, yeah. No matter what.
Such a weirdo, Paddy.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like it's
My
rare.
brother-in-law does that.
Yeah, it's rare I'm not in shorts. But then that means even in this weather, I'm like, oh, it's cold. I better put the
Turn on the
heating on.
heating.
So the heating has been on.
I box the head off you. They're sneaking around my house turning on the heat and I'm not even aware of it.
Yeah. All day. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'll go and put on like a pair of like thermal tracksuit bottoms and a hoodie. Oh,
Just
no.
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 Are you gas or oil?
All gas.
Oh, gas. We're
Gas
gas.
fire, gas cooking, yeah, gas heating. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Which is handy when the electricity goes though.
Yes, true. The cooker defo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can still cook, you still have heat.
And the thing is as well, I think because you're not actually calling somebody to come out and put a ton of oil into your tank.
Yes. Yeah.
You get a little bit kind of blasé about it, don't
Yeah.
you?
And like, but it's so nice having like instant fire. Like,
But I think the government is helping us out this month, is it? In January? Getting some fuel allowance every house in the country or something?
is that this month again, is it?
I don't know. I hope it is.
Could do it
But towards my holiday.
Could do a few more. So I'm back with my strength coach Max this week on Thursday.
Excellent. Lovely.
I'm back. We've had like a 2, actually it'll be calendar wise, I think it'll nearly be 3 weeks. It's 2 weeks on the calendar, but I think from day to day it's actually nearly 3 weeks. Since I've last seen him, so I'm a bit nervous about that. Just get stuck, excited though as well.
You'll be great. You've missed it, I'd say, though.
I have. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's also a thing of, oh, my strength and whatever. But anyway.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I've been doing since the 1st of January is I have been walking, jogging,
Yeah, you have, you
five
have.
kilometers every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So every day during January, I am walking or jogging 5 kilometers, which is
Five.
3.1 miles, in aid of Women's Aid. So Women's Aid is a charity that helps to support women and children that are victims of domestic violence. And this, like, I've been thinking, it's the first fundraiser I've kind of done
Yeah, yeah,
in any year, really. And I always wanted to do one that was in some way female kind of related. And as I think I said to you before, Belinda, the reason for that is because like 90% of
of your
the
audience.
demographic and the audience, yeah, on all of my pages is female.
Yeah,
And so that
yeah,
means the majority of the support I've had since Biggest Loser days has always been female. So I felt a very strong affinity to want to do something for
yeah.
that type of charity.
And you put your GoFundMe link up every day, don't you? When you're finished your run.
So it's
So if
okay.
anybody does want to do that, help out, that'd be really good. Really,
Yeah.
really good. Yeah,
So like I'd set the initial goal at like €500. I've broken through that €500. So
yeah.
I am putting up to 750 now. Obviously, it'd be great if I hit the 1,000 ultimately, but
1,000, wouldn't it be amazing?
that'd be
Yeah, I must share it
amazing.
again this evening for you, actually.
Be amazing. I was looking at, yeah,
Yeah.
something random happened earlier where the page wasn't loading, but it
Yeah, well,
seemed,
it happened to me the other day as well. It wouldn't twice now.
yeah, I don't know why,
So I
but
just
it
Revolut.
did come back now. Yeah, thanks. Love Revolut. Love Revolut.
My brother and his wife, no Revolut.
I don't get people that don't
Just
Revolut.
cash. They
I
had
don't
cash.
get
What
it.
the hell?
Yeah, I'm just checking here. Is the yes? It's still it's
Still,
working there. Yeah, it's working there.
okay. Okay, good.
Yeah. But anyway, Belinda,
Final
final
thoughts,
question.
Paddy.
I'm
What
going to
your
ask you,
final thoughts?
my final thoughts are: don't overcomplicate your nutrition. The foundation for success is really about keeping it simple, and absolutely, you can still enjoy some of those nice things. You know.
Yeah, and focus on the small things. Focus on what you can add in as opposed to what you can take out. Okay? And, just kind of celebrate the little small goals that you're smashing as well, like the non-scale victories, NSV, isn't that what they call them?
Yeah.
You know, and
What
celebrate.
is?
Go on,
This is the last thing I'll ask you.
go on.
What is your current favorite meal to have? Dish.
Yes. Ice go is so boring, Paddy.
No, it's okay. Go.
I have this thing where I do a big, massive basin of vegetables.
Right.
I chop up, like the table's full of vegetables. I chop them all up. I put them in a basin, put some oil on them and some herbs, and I portion them out and I freeze them. And bag about that size, I just put them in the air fryer from frozen with salmon. I just love it. I just love it. Salmon or chicken, a bit of chili sauce or something, like a bucket of it, and that
Yeah.
kind of keeps me going. Then, what's your favorite?
Again, it's not something that's going to be really exciting. Like I'd love to say, oh, nice big juicy steak and like garlic, but I don't. But
Yeah,
it's actually
no,
not. It is. There is a shop in town that does a diced up salad. So I
chop
do.
salad.
Yeah, so I do a little slant on it. They do this kind of turkey power or turkey something. It has like turkey in it. It has like al dente, almost raw, actually. Like tender stem broccoli. It has peppers. Has a hard boiled egg. So all this kind of
A
stuff.
few
I don't know
nuts and seeds in there now,
yeah,
be lovely.
all this kind of stuff in it. Yeah, so it has that in it. And then I do get, it's meant to come with sweet chili sauce, but I always get them to swap the sweet chili for my chicken Caesar. And I
Yeah,
like,
well,
and
we
then
love
they'll
that, don't we?
dice it all up. And oh my God.
Savage it into you.
So a
Get it
Caesar
into you,
salad.
Cynthia.
Yeah. So like a Caesar
Lovely.
salad, chicken Caesar, turkey Caesar, like, oh my God. It's,
What are you having for your tea, Paddy?
so I had a large lunch.
Is it 10 to 8? I haven't eaten
Yes,
my
10
dinner yet.
Yeah, I had 3 poached eggs on sourdough
Nice.
bread, with some crispy bacon.
Love that for you.
Yeah, it was
I'm having a
really,
roast beef dinner. I know it's very late now, but I'll try and get it into me.
Yeah, no, we went out for some food, and that's what I got. And it was
Nice.
like it was gorgeous. But if I was, I have one of the kind of fit meals, like a chicken
Oh
katsu
yeah,
curry. Yeah, fit meals.
love
So
katsu curry.
love katsu curry. Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Off curry for the minute though, but yeah.
Um,
Okay.
why you have curry?
Because it was the last thing I ate before I got digestive issues over the new
Oh,
year.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
yeah.
Was it a turkey curry?
No, it wasn't. It was from Marks and Spencer's actually,
Oh,
and yeah, but I'm sure it wasn't that. It was just the culmination of everything.
we don't have Marks and Spencers up here.
Not a lot of people do. Yeah, we're
No.
very lucky. We have one in Clonmel.
Yeah, unless I go
Yeah.
to just over the border in Enniskillen.
I was going to say you'd have one in Enniskillen, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
Enniskillen has
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
You're so lucky you live up there. Yeah.
Belinda, as always,
Paddy,
it's been a pleasure.
it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Couldn't
You
have
know,
done it without you.
yeah,
Thanks for all your hard work.
it's been a tasty pleasure.
Yeah.
How's that tea bag?
Oh, it's rounded. Would you drink your tea with milk with the tea bag in it? Country
No,
folk do that.
no, you're a country
I know.
folk. Yeah, no, I don't.
Are
No.
you country folk?
Yeah,
Sean does it. It's awful.
I
Sean
am.
grew up in the
I am a
country.
country
Very
folk.
different.
No, I don't. I
No.
don't.
No, with
Unless
one of these ones you would.
a peppermint tea, I would.
Yeah.
Peppermint tea.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is the
Not like,
Poca tea bags. It's
what flavor?
chamomile, honey, and something else. It's
Okay.
really nice. It's in the purple box.
They do a lovely. I don't know if it's a pucka, but there's one that's like fennel and licorice or something like that. Oh, it's,
No, thank you. Oh my good God. Oh my Lord. Okay, time to say goodbye now. Dance us out, Paddy. You got this. Go.
oh, folk, we'll talk to you next week. Till then, take
Cheers.
care.
Love it.